All right, this is actually the second part of the presentation itself. I want to believe you've already had the time or the luxury of time to watch the first side or the first section of the presentation. Like I said, if you've not watched the first part of the presentation, then definitely you might actually find it difficult to understand this second part. So I actually urge you to make sure you watch the first part of the presentation before you're getting to this, because this is actually a follow-up on the first part of the presentation. Very important. So like you heard passively in the first section of the presentation, assuming this person here, for instance, already bought 5 shares or 5 split contracts in the system, and through each of these split contracts or each of these shares, the person is benefiting from the daily distribution that is made by the delegated liquidity pool. So at some point, the person might decide to sell a certain number of his shares. But in the context of this person with 5 shares, he might decide at some point that he wants to sell off 2 of his shares to somebody, or maybe he wants to delegate them to some other person and then to stay with 3 shares only. He might decide to delegate them to maybe one of his children or to a relation of his, or maybe he's selling them off completely, because it's also possible to make that happen. So this person has a possibility to delegate some of the shares to some other person, and then he stays on to 3. So the person who is getting these 2 from this person will also be benefiting something that is coming out of the system every day through these 2 shares that the person actually has. So that possibility has been made available to all in the system. Then something extremely very important, which I must mention here, is the fact that the company also has been able to put in place a certain strategy that is geared towards pushing the price of this ULTIMA token upward. How? This strategy, Bitcoin actually has it. For those of you who are conversant with cryptocurrency or the crypto environment, there is something we call cryptocurrency halving. Like for those of you who know about Bitcoin halving. What is halving? Halving is simply telling you that the quantity of new digital assets that are put in the market is being reduced by half. For instance, in the context of Bitcoin, how many Bitcoins enter the market as of today, every day? How many new Bitcoins? I mean, Bitcoins that have never existed before. How many how many of such new Bitcoins enter the market every day? 900 as of today. We are actually in the month of January 2024. So that's actually what I'm saying. That every day we have 900 new BTCs that enter into the market. Then in intervals of 4 years, there is what we call halving, which means that before these 900 that are going to the market every day, we first of all had what? 1,800 that were entering the market every day. So that 1,800 was divided by 2, which brought the quantity down to 900. And in this year, 2024, hopefully between the month of April and probably the month of June, we are going to be experiencing another Bitcoin halving, which means the new quantity or the quantity of new Bitcoins that will be entering the market will be reduced from 900 to 450 or thereabout. That is what we refer to as halving. What is the advantage of halving on any cryptocurrency? It's very simple. Like I said, the price of anything which is sellable is given by the demand for it divided by the supply, which means if the demand is increased, which is the numerator, if you increase the demand, the price is going to go up. If you rather reduce the supply, the price is still going to go up. If you want to speed the rate at which the price is moving upward, increase the demand simultaneously with a reduction in the supply. So once there's a reduction in supply simultaneously with an increasing demand, then the speed at which the price is going to grow is going to be double, if not triple. So that is the strategy. So like I said earlier, the quantity of ULTIMA tokens that delegated liquidity pool is making available every day. In other words, the number of new ULTIMA tokens that are sent into the market or into circulation every day is just 51.84. It's just 51.84. I showed you earlier on. Let me just move a step backward. This is it here. As you can see here, you have only 51.84 ULTIMA tokens that go into circulation every blessed day. Unlike the case of BTC. Now, like I said, we have 900 BTCs that enter the market every day. BTCs that have never existed before, which are coming into circulation, into existence for the first time. It's the same thing too with this one. So if we have 51.84 entering the market every day, that already defines a certain value in terms of supply. So if at some point I decide to reduce through a halving process, I reduce the quantity entering the market by half, what does that tell you? That I am making a reduction in the supply. And if the supply is reducing, what happens to the price? The price has a tendency to move upward. So these are all mechanisms geared towards pushing the price of the digital asset upward. That is the same thing that is happening to our own ULTIMA token. We started from the year, in fact, from the year 2023 till now that I'm speaking, we are in 2024 now. The quantity of ULTIMA tokens that are going out into circulation is 51.84. Don't bother about the 50 that you see here, as a matter of fact. It's because we don't want to be dealing with decimal points. But once you get involved with the project, you'll be seeing all those decimal, in fact, those fractions. We don't want to talk about them. But the real value that goes out is 51.84. Now, let's just use 50 for the sake of, you know, just to make it easier for people to understand. So we have 50 ULTIMA tokens that are sent out. So this 50 will be divided by the total number of split contracts. In other words, the total number of shares that have been bought in the system each blessed day. Then, in this particular year, this is 2024, sometime in the month of February, which is just around the corner. In fact, in a few days' time, we'll be entering the month of February 2024. So hopefully by the 10th, if not, maybe the 15th or the 20th of February, we are going to register our first halving, the first reduction. Meaning that instead of 50 ULTIMA tokens being released by the delegated liquidity pool, we are going to have just 25. What does that tell you? That the quantity entering the market has been dropped by half. That is scarcity that is going to be created against an ever-increasing demand. What is actually making the demand to increase? Because there are people who need this ULTIMA token to do what? To participate in our cars program, to participate in the real estate program, to participate in the crowdfunding program, to participate on the travel platform, to participate in the auction sales, and to do many other things with these particular ULTIMA tokens. Cashback vouchers. People want to purchase them and get, you know, discounts on those purchases. Everybody wants to get involved, which means there will be a high demand for these ULTIMA tokens. Where would many people get these ULTIMA tokens from? It is either you are a shareholder on this system whereby through the number of shares, you are going to be benefiting from a certain fraction, which is coming from the 51.84 ULTIMA tokens that are shared every day. You can be a partaker in that, or you have to go to the exchange market, you buy the ULTIMA tokens from there yourself, according to the price at which those ULTIMA tokens will be selling on that market at the time you'll be doing the purchases. So if you are ready to dance by that price in the market, then you can go there and buy. But trust me, it is easier for somebody to get on board the system whereby you are going to be receiving fractions of these ULTIMA tokens every blessed day. Every day, whether the price of the ULTIMA token is moving upward or it is going downward, you have a fixed flow. It's like a permanent source of income where you are getting these ULTIMA tokens from every blessed day, and you can actually make use of them. Either you are converting them for USDT or you are using them, you are loading them directly on your ATM card and withdrawing the fiat equivalents from an ATM terminal, or you are using them to participate in the crowdfunding project, the cars program, real estate program, the auction sales program, the gaming platforms, the copy trading also, because those are some of the products also that have been put in place that will be seeing the light of day very soon. These are all products in the real world economy. So that should tell you a lot. Then, after this halving would have taken place in this 2024, which is in a few weeks from now, 12 months later, meaning that in 2025, another halving is going to take place. Bitcoin does its own halving after every 4 years. For us in our system, our own halving is taking place every year. So in 2025, instead of 25 ULTIMA tokens shared to all the shareholders, it will be dropped from 25 to what? To 12. Another 12 months later, meaning 2026, another halving will take place. So if you divide 12 by 2, that gives you 6. In 2027, another halving takes place. In 2028, the last halving, our last halving is going to take place in 2028, whereby, excuse me, you have just one ULTIMA token distributed to all the shareholders every day. Imagine if right now we have up to 51.8 that is shared to all the shareholders every day. And then they tell you in 2028, halving would have taken place until we'll be left with just one ULTIMA token distributed to everybody, which means that for somebody with just one share inside, if you divide one by the total number of shares, maybe by then, let us assume, take an arbitrary value. Let's say at that time we'll have up to 10 million shares that have been bought in the system. So somebody with just one share, what is the fraction of the ULTIMA token the person is going to get? If they are dividing just one ULTIMA token by 10 million shares, divide one by 10 million, you will see the small quantity, the small fraction of ULTIMA token that you are going to get for owning one share. Which means for one share, you will be earning 0.0000000 something, one. That is the fraction that you will be getting out. So the person who will actually be making so much from that moment will be the person who has more shares, or the person who would have bought more split contracts that will be able to give you some. But remember, it's not because I say that fraction you are getting, which is extremely too small. It does not necessarily translate to the fact that you are going to be making something very small also. No. It can be that small in terms of the quantity, but what is the dollar equivalence of it? What if by the time it is reducing, it is going down that small? It shows that the value of one ULTIMA token in the market is at 100,000 US dollars. If it is 100,000 US dollars, then somebody with a small fraction, 0.0000 something, if you multiply by 100,000 US dollars, or maybe 1 million US dollars, because it's possible. What do you think that person will be earning also every day? The person will still be able to earn something extremely very large. What if the person had up to 10 shares, 20 shares, 50 shares, 100 shares? It puts the person on a more vantage position. So this is to give you an idea on how the company has carefully planned everything in place to make sure that the price goes up by playing on the demand and also playing on the supply simultaneously. Those are all strategies or mechanisms put in place geared towards pushing the price of the ULTIMA token, in the market. Now, let us check what is the current price of this ULTIMA token in the market. Let me take you to the website. Let's go and consult CoinMarketCap. On CoinMarketCap, we can be able to see the current price of the ULTIMA token. Right here, this is BTC. Now, let us go to ULTIMA token. Let's go to ULTIMA token and simply introduce here, write ULTIMA. That is ULTIMA, it appears, this is it here. Now, on CoinMarketCap, what is the position that this particular token is occupying? It's occupying position number 320. How many cryptocurrencies do we have in the market? More than 25. In fact, let's check here. If we check over here, we'll be able to see the number of cryptocurrencies. How many cryptos are in the market? More than 2.2 million. These are the number of cryptocurrencies that we have in the market right now. How many exchanges exist in the market as of now? We can have details, or CoinMarketCap can be able to provide information on about 703 different exchange markets on which cryptocurrencies are sold. How many cryptos do we find in the market right now? Up to 2,200,000. That should tell you a whole lot. Now, what is the position that is occupied by our own token? This is it here, as you can see here, number 320 out of this total number of cryptocurrencies in the market. If you understand what that means, then you will not joke with this particular digital asset. You will not play with it. Now, let us click and have more details on it. This is it, ULTIMA token. What is the price of one ULTIMA token? If you have one ULTIMA token, it means that you have what? $7,136.75. That is the price of one. Now, look at the profile. Look at the profile. You know that this token is actually taken. What is the date of today? The date of today is the 29th. Now, this is the profile for 29th. You see how the token has actually been behaving. This is how bullish it has been today. Now it is gradually bearishing. So at the moment it is here. What is the current price here? As you can see, it is somewhere, it is at what? 7,330. So it is presently at 7,330. Very soon you will see it jumping and going back upward again. Now, what is the highest point that we were able to attain today? If you look at this, is the peak here. On this peak, you can see 7,357. Means that that's the highest sale that this ULTIMA token has registered today. 7,356.85 US dollars. Meaning that for somebody who bought maybe the ULTIMA token today, assuming that somebody bought it at this point, this is a very low position here. Maybe this person actually bought it at what price? What was the price at this bottom position? is 7,242.19. Maybe somebody bought one ULTIMA token at this price and then held on to the ULTIMA token. When the value went up again, when it rose up to maybe this highest point, what is this point? 7,356.85. Maybe the person brought the same ULTIMA token back to the market and sold at this higher price. What is the profit margin that the person would have made for himself? You can calculate that difference and then you see the profit that that person would have registered for himself just for doing that trading today. This is how easy people make money with cryptocurrencies. It's about buying low and doing what? And selling high. But now we are not actually talking about somebody who is buying or somebody who wants to sell. I'm still teaching you how you can be able to own or to earn this digital currency, these ULTIMA tokens every day for the next 100 years and above. So much so that each time you get your daily payments of the ULTIMA token, what do? You simply carry them to the exchange market and you sell. Now, which are the exchange markets in which you can actually sell these ULTIMA tokens? Let us check. Let's come here under where it is written markets. We will see the cryptocurrency markets where you can sell your ULTIMA. These are them here. So you can actually trade your ULTIMA token for USDT on Get.io. So on Get.io, what is the price there? It is selling at $7,365.76. On Mexi, which is another exchange, it is selling for what? $7,335.66. On CoinW, it is selling at what rate? $7,330.15 US dollars. Of course, you will realize that the prices are usually not the same. They are not uniform in all the markets. Why? Because all the markets don't have the same number of traders. They don't have the same number of buyers. They don't have the same number of sellers. So that's why the prices will never be the same everywhere, because people in different markets can choose to sell their digital asset at whatever price they want. And then the rate of the demand to the supply of the digital asset in that market or in a particular market might not necessarily be the same in other markets. That's why the prices will hardly be the same. So for somebody who is really wise, who wants to do trading professionally, the person can do what we call arbitrary trading. You go to the market where the asset is selling cheaper. For instance, in this market, it's selling at 7,330. You buy from there and you go to the market where it is selling higher. For instance, in this market, it's selling for what? 7,365, which is higher than this market. So somebody who has the time can buy from here and sell in this other market. It's as simple as that. These are the strategies people employ to make money for themselves in the crypto space, particularly with these digital assets. But now, I don't want you to fall in the category of those who are always buying from here to come and sell back here. Because for you to buy from here means you must have the amount of money that is required to buy such a huge quantity to go and sell and begin to do that. And there's a risk of you getting to sell maybe at some point without doing proper market analysis, and you sell and you lose. It's possible. So I want to put you in a position where you are going to be very safe, whereby it is a system that produces the ULTIMA tokens and you benefit from those ULTIMA tokens every day for the next 100 years. So much so that each time you are paid the ULTIMA tokens, even if you come and sell and you lose, you don't actually lose anything in essence. Why? Because the next day you are going to receive another new set of the same ULTIMA tokens, even if not in the same proportion, but you are going to be receiving those new ULTIMA tokens every day for the next 100 years. That is the advantage you get. Even if you don't know how to read nor write, every day you are sure that you simply have a button, on your phone where you are going to click on. Once you click, that button is a button that permits you to claim the rewards which you have been paid for that day. You click on that button, you claim the rewards, and you can use the rewards to do any of those things which I've explained you have the possibility to do in the real world economy by getting any of those products or services, or maybe even selling the digital asset for USDT, like it is happening on these exchanges here. It's as simple as that. Now, let us go back to our main slide. Let's get back to our main slide. Excuse me. Now, back to this main slide. Let me show you exactly what you can actually get per day. What is it that you can possibly earn on a daily basis? And let me show you how it is actually done. Let me take you back to another slide before I come back to our main slide. Let me show you a practical demonstration here, so that with this one, you'll be able to understand perfectly. Like I said earlier on, the token price is given by what? Demand for the token divided by the supply of the token. In other words, it's given by the total number of splits you know, divided by the daily Ultima token released. No, this one is a reverse, sorry. So this one, you are rather supposed to have, just give me a moment, let me do this correction. Okay. What do we have here? No, it's actually correct. It's actually correct like this. Yeah, this one is perfect. The relationship is okay. Which means now by demand means we have to make a demand. If the number of splits, when I say the number of splits, that's the number of split contracts or the number of shares. If the number of shares increases, then the price of the token also is definitely going to increase. In other words, if the number of Ultima tokens released per day by the delegated liquidity pool, if it reduces, maybe through our halving strategy, once there is that reduction, means there's a reduction also in the supply, it is also bound to make the price of the token to go upward. So these are also the possibilities for us to raise the price of the Ultima token, aside, demand, which is coming from the fact that people need, to get involved with some of those products and services and so on. Now, let us come back to this table. This table is going to give us an idea of exactly what quantity of Ultima tokens each person is going to be getting per day in function of the number of shares. Now, this is how it works. Assuming that every day there is what we call the total number of active splits, means that the total number of shares or split contracts that have been bought in the system. Now, we are going to do this demonstration for 2 days. Assuming that today is day one, we call today day one. Let us assume, because I've said the delegated liquidity pool releases how many Ultima tokens in a day? 51.84. I already showed you this, especially in the first part of this presentation. So I said we have 51.84 that are released every day. Now, assuming that the total number of shares that have been bought in the system in a particular day is, let me just take a simple example, very simple, is let's say 300,000. We have 300,000 shares that have been bought in the system. So if you have 300,000 shares that have been bought and we have 51.84 released every day. So if we divide 51.84 by 300,000 shares in the entire system, that gives you what? That gives you 0.000173. That simply tells you that one share, one Ultima token share for that day, means that for today, this particular day, anybody with one share or with one split contract is going to merit, in fact, the person would have merited 0.000173. This is the quantity of Ultima tokens that the person is going to get out of this 51.84, because the person owns just one share. So the one share is going to attract 0.000173 out of this 51.84 that is distributed by these 300,000. Now, let us assume that this person was able to buy up to 10 splits or 10 split contracts or 10 shares. And this is the number of Ultima tokens per share. So if you multiply this 0.000173 by 10, it means that in essence, the total number of Ultima tokens that have been received by this person with 10 shares stands at what? Stands at 0.001728. That's the total quantity of Ultima tokens that the person has received today. That's the person's daily benefit. That's what the person has gotten today as his benefit for today. Now, what does this fraction represent in dollars? This quantity represents what in dollars? For instance, what's the equivalence in dollars? Now, for us to know the equivalence of this in dollars, we need to ask ourselves, what is the price of one Ultima token in the market as of this moment that we are speaking? I'm just from CoinMarketCap, where I showed you. We saw one Ultima token there selling at what? 7,130 something. Or 7,300, sorry, 7,300 something. Let us just take a flat rate of 7,300. Now, if we assume that the price of one Ultima token now that we are speaking, or now that as we speak, is 7,300, if you input it there, it means that if you take this 7,300 multiplied by this fraction of Ultima tokens, it means that this person has actually made how many dollars today? The dollar equivalence now here stands at what? 12,006, or rather 12.61440. That's the number of dollars that this person has earned for himself today. Now, for those in the franc CFA zone, for somebody who finds himself in the franc CFA zone, $1 now averagely sells at what? 650 francs CFA. So if you multiply 12.61440 by 650 francs CFA, that gives you around about 8,199.36000 francs CFA. That is the amount of money this person with 10 shares has been able to make for himself today, on the condition that only 300,000 shares have been bought in the system as of today. Let's say by tomorrow, maybe other people joining the business happen to come and buy their own shares as well. So much so that by tomorrow, the total number of shares that the system sees now stands at 400,000. Let's say the total number of shares has moved from this 300,000 to 400,000. You mean by that same tomorrow, you still have the same 51.84 ULTIMA tokens that will be distributed by, or that will be divided by the total number of shares in the system. So you see that if this happens by tomorrow, if you divide 51.84 by 400, now it means one share will be able to attract what? 0.000130, which is less than this one here for today, which is 0.000173. Now, assuming that the person still continues, this person with 10 shares, if you multiply this one by this fraction, it gives you what? 0.001296. That is the amount of money that the person, or that's the number of ULTIMA tokens that the person would have received today, which is less than this quantity. No doubt about that. But remember, I told you that for this quantity to have grown from 300,000 ULTIMA tokens to 400,000 ULTIMA tokens, for you to be able to buy any share, you need what? The same ULTIMA tokens. You will need to go to the market and buy ULTIMA tokens to make use of them to buy the share. So if this quantity is growing from 300 to 400, that increase is also telling you the number of people who are buying the ULTIMA tokens from the market, who are removing those ULTIMA tokens from the market to use them to buy these shares and find themselves in the market. So what does that tell you? That when that demand also for those ULTIMA tokens is increasing in the market because people are buying to use them to buy these shares, the price of the ULTIMA token too will be going up because of that increase in the demand. So for this number of shares to have gone up to, or for the number of shares to have gone up to 400,000, it therefore means there is a chance that the price of this ULTIMA token also would have risen from 7,300 to maybe 800, or rather $8,000. Why not 9,000? Why not 10,000, 15, 20, 25, 30, 50, 100? It's possible. So let us assume that on this second day, the price of the ULTIMA token has risen to about 8,000. If it has risen to about $8,000, if you multiply this $8,000 by this, it gives you what? Around about $10.36 in that day. Multiply by 650, it gives you what? 6,739. Now, for somebody who is doing the analysis on the surface, will now start saying that, no, I'm not receiving something which is less. If you find yourself in a situation like this, remember the ultimate goal is not to stand at a small increase of maybe just 1,000 or maybe a few hundreds onto this previous value. No, you can decide to accrue your coins. You say, no, you don't want to sell at the market rate. Allow the price of the token to keep going up. What if it moves up to eventually and finds what if it moves up eventually to 10,000? If it moves to 10,000, then you would have made what? 12.96, which is about 8,000 something. What if by then, with this huge demand, as I've explained, and with our halving mechanism, which is coming into being also, the price moves from this value to maybe, let's say 20,000 only. If it goes up to 20,000, means that the person's benefit for today, or for tomorrow, sorry, means that the person's benefit for tomorrow will be up to what? $25.92, which is around about 16,848. That's a one-time payment that the person has received. And as the days are passing, the person continues to receive the same ULTIMA token fraction that are paid to him or her according to the number of shares. What if the person eventually comes and increases his number of shares to maybe 20 or something bigger? Then the person too is earning what? More fractions of ULTIMA tokens also on daily basis. So the more the fractions of ULTIMA tokens you make, the bigger the amount you are also going to make in terms of dollars. That is, it's a function of also of the price growth of the ULTIMA token in the market. But with that demand strategy I've showed you, and the supply reduction strategy that I've showed you that the company has put in place, there is nothing that can stop the price from moving upwards. It might not happen in a day, It might not happen in 1 week. It might not happen in a month. But definitely, with this approach, it is bound to work. It is bound to work. There's nothing that will prevent it from working. So if you have understood this, then I can say for a fact that you've actually understood something extremely very important. Now, let us proceed with our main slide to show you probably how you can actually get started from the purchase of the license and definitely the purchase of the splits. Now, what currencies do you need to make use of in order to purchase a split license and, of course, to purchase the split contracts or what we call the shares? Because it's not like, you know, like it's a common thing with other platforms where you can always use USDTs to sign up, you know, purchase this and that and so. Here, it doesn't work. If you want to purchase a license, which is the first thing you have to buy, you can only purchase the license using the same ULTIMA tokens, the same currency which you are looking for me to be earning every day. You have to make use of it. If you don't have, you have to go and buy from those who already have. You see the way the company is creating demand on it. So you have to go and look for the same ULTIMA token, use it to buy the license because you want to be a partaker of the daily distribution that takes place on its delegated liquidity pool. Look for the ULTIMA tokens, use them to purchase this license. Or you can make use of another cryptocurrency that is owned by the company, which is called the smart coin. But if you have smart coins, you can only make use of the smart coins within a certain window. In fact, the window is open now, and that window is going to be closing in the next 2 days from this particular moment when I'm doing this video recording. We are left with just 2 days for the opportunity to be made available to people who have smart coins and who intend to make use of the smart coins to purchase their licenses. They'll have that possibility left open, or they still have that possibility left open for the next 2 days. After the next 2 days, that opportunity will be removed. There's another cryptocurrency which is owned by the same ecosystem, which is called the WIN token. So the WIN token is an internal currency which is used only within the internal system of the company. You don't buy it. You can only earn it through a commission or through a bonus. It's the company that gives it to you. You don't buy. Because it's not a cryptocurrency which is meant for trading. No. So if either you make use of the ULTIMA token, or you make use of the smart coin, or you make use of the WIN token. But like I said, in the next 2 days, the option of making use of the smart coin and the WIN token will be scraped off. And you have just one payment method, which is that of making use of the ULTIMA tokens to purchase the license. As soon as the license is purchased, the next thing you need to purchase is the split contract. This is actually the deal breaker. That's the final thing you need to buy. Once you have the split contract, then you are good to go. Automatically, you get locked into the system and you start participating in the daily benefits that are shared by the system for the next 100 years. So to purchase these split contracts, that can only be done exclusively using ULTIMA tokens. That's the only currency you can make use of. If you have USDTs, you have to go to the exchange market, one of those exchange markets I just showed you on CoinMarketCap. You know, there are other exchanges on the way also that will be listing this particular token also. Amongst which you have Binance as well. So you have to go there with your USDTs, purchase the ULTIMA tokens from there. Excuse me. Then you bring the ULTIMA tokens, you go now to the website, which I'm also going to be showing to you how you can go and do the purchase of the split license and of course the split contract. You will now go there, use it now to actually purchase either the split license or the split contract. So that is very important for us to understand. Now, in summary, where can you possibly get ULTIMA tokens from to start making use of them? It is either you are buying the ULTIMA tokens directly from the exchange market, or you are somebody who already bought split contracts or who already bought shares in the system, and you are receiving ULTIMA tokens paid to you every day, which you can make use of, or you are participating in our network marketing program because the business also has a network marketing component. But not everybody is obliged to do the marketing, you know, the network marketing aspect of this business. It is completely optional. It is optional. So it's not like you must bring somebody into the system before you make money. No. Whether you bring somebody into the system or you don't bring the person in the system, you will still be receiving payment every day according to your number of shares. It's just that being a networker, bringing other people into the business, there is something additional, what we call incentives, that you get from the company. And trust me, you just don't want to know what these incentives are all about. Because once you know them, you will not want, in fact, you will not be able to resist the temptation of doing the network marketing. Wait until I get to that part, then you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Now, the various split licenses. In fact, we have different categories of split licenses Because I said for you to get started, after creating the account, you need to purchase a license. But what I want you to understand is that we have different categories of licenses. The licenses are in different categories. So you might choose a particular category. What is going to guide you to be able to purchase a particular license category? It's as simple as that. Now I'm taking you to the various categories of the licenses. Follow my analysis, very important. These are some examples of the licenses that do exist. You have the smallest one, which goes by the name Light. You have the second in that order, which is Air. You have Starter, you have Basic, you have Medium, you have Plus. There are other ones. You have Pro, you have Medium, you have Premium, you have Exclusive, you have Diamond, you have Gold, you have Plus. Now let us go back to these ones. You have the Light. Let me do analysis on this license. If you understand the analysis that I'm doing on this license, simply apply the same analysis on any other license because it applies now to the other ones. Now, for somebody who buys this license called Light, anybody who buys this license will have what we call a split limit of 1. This is a split limit of 1. What does it mean? It means that under this license, this person can never buy more than 1 share with this company. The maximum number of shares you can buy with this company is 1. You cannot buy beyond 1. If you want to buy more than 1, then you need to have several licenses like this. So in essence, a license is what precises to you the maximum number of split contracts or the maximum number of shares that you can ever purchase from this company. So even if you are the richest billionaire in the world, you cannot just decide to say, okay, I'm going to own 100 splits. No. What is going to permit you to own the 100 splits is the license that you purchase. So it is the license that gives you the possibility to own a certain number of shares or to buy a certain number of shares. It's like somebody who wants to gain access into a shopping mall. At the entrance of that shopping mall, there is somebody who says, for you to gain access into this shopping mall to buy whatever it is you want to buy from inside, you are going to have to pay what they call an entry ticket. Now, depending on the type of ticket that you have bought, the type of ticket you have bought will tell you also the maximum number of goods that you can buy and take outside of that shopping mall. So if you want to buy more goods from that shopping mall and take them outside, you will need to buy also a bigger license. You will need to buy a bigger entry ticket. So that's the best way for you to understand it. So for somebody who says, I intend to have 50 shares, I want to buy 50 shares from this company, then you need to go in for a license that can give you the possibility to buy up to 50 shares. For instance, this license called Plus. You need to buy this